Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have some major breaking news to get into today, and I want you to hear it clearly, calmly, and directly from someone who spent years helping seniors make sense of the financial decisions happening in Washington. President Trump has just signed a new executive order, and at the same time, the White House has officially confirmed something that has millions of Americans, especially seniors, paying very close attention. With all the confusion online, the rumors, the headlines, and the mixed information spreading everywhere, many of you are asking the same question. Are these new dividend checks real? And are they truly being targeted to specific groups? Well, today I'm going to walk you through the facts exactly as they are without the noise, the panic, or the politics. I've spent hours reviewing the official statements, watching the ceremony, and going through every detail of President Trump's posts so you don't have to. My goal is simple: to help you understand what this means for your wallet, who is actually being targeted for these payments, and what this could realistically look like for you as a senior living on a fixed income. If you're new here, my name is Susan Harper. For more than 10 years, I've been helping American seniors navigate Social Security decisions, retirement savings challenges, and the constant changes in government policies that affect their everyday lives. And I know how quickly breaking news can create anxiety, especially when it involves money you may desperately need. That's why I want you to feel like you're sitting across from a friend who cares deeply about your financial security, someone who will slow everything down and make it easy to understand. So, let's take a deep breath together and walk through this step by step, because what's happening right now is bigger than just a headline. It affects real people, real families, and real budgets. Let's start with the part everyone is talking about. Yes, President Trump did sign an executive order in a public ceremony, and yes, at nearly the same time, the White House confirmed that his administration is actively pushing forward with a plan to issue new dividend payments funded by tariff revenue. Now, the executive order itself had nothing to do with those payments, something the internet is mixing together left and right. But the confirmation about these dividend checks is very real, and it's something we need to understand clearly. Trump has repeated multiple times that these payments are aimed at specific groups, particularly lower and middle-income Americans, and that includes a very large number of seniors who live on fixed incomes, Social Security benefits, military pensions, or disability payments. That's why I'm here, because before anyone gets their hopes too high or dismisses this as just another political promise, we need to slow down and unpack exactly what's been confirmed, what hasn't, and what truly matters for you. So, let's move into the facts and break down what actually happened versus what people think happened, because those are two very different stories. Ready? Let's walk through it together. Now, let's clear up the biggest misunderstanding that's been spreading online, because I want you to feel grounded in the truth before we go any deeper. President Trump and First Lady Melania did sign an executive order, and it was presented in a very public way, which is why so many people assumed it had something to do with these new dividend payments. But here's the real story. That executive order was focused on supporting teenagers aging out of the foster care system. It was an emotional and meaningful moment, especially for the families and advocates involved, but it had absolutely nothing to do with the $2,000 dividend checks people keep hearing about. What happened is simple. Two different announcements happened at the same time, and the internet blended them into one big dramatic headline. And seniors, especially those depending on Social Security or struggling with rising costs, saw those words executive order and payments in the same breath and assumed one directly triggered the other. I completely understand why. When you're watching the news and stretched thin financially, it's easy to connect dots that weren't actually meant to connect. That's why I wanted to start here. You deserve clarity, not confusion, and certainly not false hope or unnecessary fear. So, here's the part that is true and deeply relevant to you. Separate from the foster care executive order, the White House has directly confirmed that President Trump is pushing forward with his plan to issue new dividend payments funded by tariff revenue. And this confirmation didn't come from rumors or viral posts. It came directly from statements made by the administration and by the president himself. Trump published several messages outlining how these payments would work, who they're meant for, and why he believes tariff revenue makes this possible. This is where things become especially important for seniors. In his own words, Trump said the administration intends to issue a dividend of at least $2,000 per person specifically for lower and middle-income Americans. High-income earners would be excluded entirely. That means these payments are not for everyone. They're being targeted to groups that need support the most. And if you're a senior living on fixed income, if you rely on Social Security, if you're a veteran receiving disability, or if you're a single parent or grandparent raising children on a modest income, you fall right into the category Trump is talking about. But before anyone jumps ahead or assumes they're automatically eligible, we need to dig deeper into the details hidden in the fine print of those statements. Trump emphasized two key points. These payments would go only to U.S. citizens, and they would be structured for low and middle-income households. That tells us a lot. Even though the exact income limits haven't been publicly finalized, we do have a strong clue from previous legislation Trump supported. When Senator Josh Hawley proposed a tariff dividend bill months ago, a bill Trump publicly backed, it capped eligibility at individuals earning under $100,000. So, while nothing official has been written into law yet, it gives us a strong indication that those earning under six figures are likely the primary group being considered. If you fall into that range, this proposal is aimed directly at people like you. But we'll break this down more clearly in the next section so you know exactly what it could mean for your situation. Now that we've separated rumor from reality, let's talk about what President Trump actually confirmed, because this is the part many seniors have been waiting for. In his public statements, especially the ones shared on Truth Social, Trump laid out the clearest explanation yet of how these dividend checks would work. He argued that the critics of tariffs are missing the bigger picture, saying that the revenue created through these tariffs can be used not just to strengthen the economy, but to directly support American families. And then he made the promise that caught everyone's attention, a dividend of at least $2,000 per person, targeted specifically to low and middle-income Americans. This wasn't hinted at. It wasn't implied. He stated it loudly and plainly. And that matters because public commitments like this, statements made with millions of people watching, are not easily walked back. When a president puts something in writing and repeats it across multiple platforms, it signals that the administration is actively working on some form of official pathway, even if it isn't complete yet. What's especially important for you as a senior is the group Trump repeatedly emphasized. He stressed that these payments are meant for middle and lower income people, which is exactly the population facing the most pressure right now. He directly referenced families living on modest budgets, people trying to keep up with rising grocery prices, seniors on fixed incomes, veterans relying on disability payments, and households struggling with medical costs. These are not high earners. These are everyday Americans, the people who feel inflation the most and have the least room to absorb financial surprises. That's the group Trump is describing. And he didn't stop there. He also explained that any leftover tariff revenue after issuing these payments would be used to pay down the national debt. So when we look at the total picture, it's a two-part plan. Give immediate relief to lower and middle-income citizens and use the remaining funds to strengthen the country's financial footing. Whether you agree or disagree with the politics behind it, the intention he's putting forward is very clear. As we wrap up today's conversation, I want to leave you with something deeper than just information. I know how heavy these financial worries can feel, especially when you're over 60 and every decision affects your sense of security. When headlines start swirling, when politicians make big promises, and when the news feels confusing or contradictory, it's easy to feel anxious or even discouraged. But you're not navigating this alone. You have every right to clear, honest guidance delivered in a way that protects your peace of mind, not adds to your stress. And that's why I'm here with you, week after week. No drama, no panic, no political pressure, just calm, real information you can trust. So here's the final truth for today. This proposal is real. The momentum behind it is real, and the intention is serious. At the same time, nothing has been finalized yet, and there are still important steps ahead before any payments can reach your mailbox or your bank account. If these checks become a reality, they could bring meaningful relief to millions of people, especially seniors, veterans, disabled Americans, and families living on modest incomes. Until then, the best thing you can do is stay informed, stay cautious, and keep making the day-to-day choices that protect your stability. Hope is a good thing, but planning ahead is even better, and both can exist side by side. If today's video helped you feel a little more confident, a little more grounded, or simply a little less overwhelmed, I'm truly glad. That's why I do this. Please take a moment to like this video. It helps more seniors find reliable information when they need it most. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Things are changing quickly, and I will always be here to walk you through every step with clarity and care. And before you go, I'd love to hear from you. What's one financial lesson you wish you had learned earlier in life? Your story might help someone else feel supported or even make a better decision tomorrow. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take good care of yourself, stay safe, and remember, you deserve stability, security, and peace of mind. I'll see you in the next update.